Now, many teachers and parents still believe if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Corporal punishment is a popular way of disciplining children in Nigeria, but sometimes it can go horribly wrong. Not only can it leave the physical scars on children, it has short and long-term effects. In this report, Joseph Okoh examines the overall impact of corporal punishment on kids.
Because they don't need to have ulcer, so to prevent ulcer, they decided to maltreat me by flogging me. That day was very annoying. I felt like I wanted to kill them, but I didn't know what to do.
My daddy beat me with cane, and it was painful. And I have a mark on my body.
One after the other, they tell their stories. Corporal punishment, be it in the form of hitting, slapping, spanking, punching, the use of objects such as sticks, belts and paddles are the most widespread form of punishing children in Nigeria. Rallies against sexual abuse or advocacy for the protection of the rights of the girl child have stepped up in recent years, but not much attention is paid to corporal punishments. This portrays how strongly rooted the phenomenon has become in our society and suggests how consciously or unconsciously many tend to trivialize corporal punishments when compared to other ill treatments affecting children. But the recent statistic by the United Nations Children's Fund reveals that of all forms of abuses, physical abuse is the most prevalent against the Nigerian child. It's easier to find adolescents who are regularly whooped, smacked or kicked than those who haven't experienced it at all.
I did, yes. It was a very long injury. And that was very painful. I think it was at my back. Yeah, it was at my back. I was very angry, so even the injury wasn't that too much for me. The anger inside me was bigger than the injury, so I didn't want to say that. I was so angry.
And I went to go and meet my friend and play ball. When I do everything finish, then I did not wash the plate and fetch the water before I go. So when I come back in midnight, that started beating me.
Flogging and indeed all other forms of vicious punishment perpetrated by teachers, parents and guardians have been passed on from generation to generation. Some still can't see any wrong on the practice. Okoh is one of such parents. We met him on his way back from his son's school where he was summoned for his child's misconduct.
Oh, it comes up often and on. Like I just beat my son now because what he did, I beat him in front of the teacher so that they will know that I am not in support of what they actually called me for.
It can be argued that most parents, teachers, guardians and wards who indulge in physical discipline do so with the right motive, not knowing it has both short and long-term impacts.
But the abuse we are talking about, you hit somebody, you feel that by hitting, by destroying that person is the best. When that individual grows up, he or she is going to use the same method. So it's a chain reaction.
But it's a different age to be a teacher and parent, as some would argue. One wonders, if not smacking, are there proven alternatives to disciplining an unruly child?
You can blink your eyes. You can just wave your hands like this. Get out. For example, you must have known that that person does not like that type of thing. You use it. The person will go and be crying. You can say, okay, I will tell your significant another, the person you respect most. This is how we do it. Ordinary, a child or a domestic worker does something bad. Ordinary like this. Nkechi. You don't have to do it very hard.
So the best way to get what you want from children is to show them good examples.
An average student in nursery, primary or secondary school would spend more time with their teachers than they would with their parents. So for parents who strongly oppose corporal punishments, how can they ensure their children are protected? How do they monitor activities of their children if they attended a boarding school?
Being strict to a child is not a risk, but actually you're making the child to know the good and the bad. I don't believe there is a risk. Maybe when a teacher is trying to be rigid, not being flexible to a child or a world, I believe the teacher is trying to impart the better side of knowledge to a child, to that student.
Nigeria is a deeply religious country, and perhaps the prevalence of corporal punishment could be tied to scriptural verses, which seems to encourage tough love. So I asked, as with many verses in the scriptures often misinterpreted, is Proverbs 13 verse 24, which says, "Spare the rod and spoil the child," one of them?
Then talks about using the rod to drive it out, but it's not literal. If it's literal, that means they're going to get a rod, they're going to inflict the child with injury, possibly kill the child, maim the child, either partially or wholly, and all that. But the concept is deeper than the literal meaning. It's simply to make sure the child receives some discipline. That discipline does not have to be caning.
In trying to correct kids, many parents still don't know when to cross the line. I met with this lawyer who was quick to point out that there are laws against corporal punishment in Nigeria, even though they haven't been well enforced.
There are laws against corporal punishment in Nigeria. The child rights law of Lagos State, because it has been codified in Lagos State, started from the Child Rights Act. Now we have the child rights law in Lagos State since 2015. And it's very clear, Section 10 is very clear about the fact that once there is an inhuman treatment of a child, you have definitely inflicted some form of abuse on the child.
Support Discipline Group has been campaigning against physical abuses in children for some time now. It is in fact one of the only few groups openly speaking against the practice. On its one-year anniversary, members of the group gathered stakeholders involved in the formation of children to counsel them, and they didn't hold anything back.
When we use negative discipline to raise a child, we discover that the bond between that child and the parent is severed. And then you find the parents trying to make up for it in the later years. Your first role as a parent is to parent your child. But you must parent your child in a friendly manner.
For one of the young stars who have been on the receiving end of spanking, her message to parents is clear.
I hate that thing. Flogging is not good. Just talk to them and then scold them, ground them. Then you can actually seize their phone so that and they'll start eating. That's how you do it, not to be flogging them. Flogging them is maltreatment.
Corporal punishment is still an evolving debate in Nigeria and parts of Africa, but experts warn that the practice only achieves results in the short term, as it doesn't really change anyone, but instead could make a child worse. Joseph Okoh, Galaxy News, Lagos.